This week on Across the Arrowverse, John's back, and this time he's Welsh. We're watching Constantine the TV series. Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm your host Matthew Vose, and I'm joined by Catherine Kay.
Hi everyone.
We started watching Constantine the TV series, which ran in 2014 for a total of 13 episodes. So we watched the first two episodes, Non-Est Asylum and The Darkness Beneath. Catherine, do you want to give me your opinion of the first two episodes so far?
Meh. I think, I can kind of see that there are things to like in it. I haven't yet managed to dredge up much ounce of caring about any of the characters in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel novel or new.
Okay.
It's probably where I'm at with it.
Is that novel or new just because we watched Constantine the movie, or the series in general compared to other genre TV, the Buffys and Angels of this world?
I think the series in general compared to other genre TV,
Okay.
it feels like they're trying to assemble a cast a bit like Angel, but they're not hitting some of the. I'm trying to say this in a proper way. Some of the pleasure points that Angel does.
Yeah.
You know, there were some of the ingredients in Angel that you can't necessarily pull out one by one and go, oh yes, let's put these ingredients together to make a show. Yeah. But it feels like that's a little bit what they're trying to do with Constantine, but they haven't put in the chili powder or something like that. They're missing an ingredient.
Needs more salt.
Exactly. Always needs more salt.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I already have a feeling of I can see why this was cancelled, which I feel a bit mean thinking, but it really was not exciting.
Yes, I agree. And they were really trying to be exciting. There were scenes of great peril that just left me cold.
Yeah, the usual thing for the opening of a series. I'm not scared for the characters particularly. And it needs to be perhaps a little bit more clever than it is at times.
Yes.
I think it wants to be very clever with the way it's using dark arts and demonic things, but it usually ends up with him saying an incantation and stopping it.
Yeah, they want him to be Johnny Lee Miller's Sherlock from whatever that series was called, Elementary. They want him to be that character. I think they're really styling him on that character. They sort of wanted to be that character with a slightly harder edge and lashings of occult mysticism. Yep. But they haven't quite got enough witty dialogue. He's not clever enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. There were times, I think particularly that second episode, because pilots are always their own thing. The second episode felt very much like an X-Files episode of the X-Files. I don't know how you say that.
Yeah.
It had that style of go and investigate a thing and do lots of investigating and figure it out after the third time it happens. Yes. Which is how the X-Files always went. And then he said an incantation and won.
Yeah, that's it. It's the magic screwdriver of occult mysticism.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, we've got Johnny Lee Miller as Sherlock waving around Doctor Who's magic screwdriver, but disguising it through the power of the occult. The occult. Yeah. I don't know. You know,
it's hard because we've only seen a couple, but so far it's not grabbed us, I think.
Yeah, for me, and I guess this is what I go to in my media, they needed to have made me care about the characters a bit more. Yeah. And I could have cared, I think, about the last Liv that they had in the pilot. She had, you know, there were things I thought were interesting about her, and I'd have been interested in watching her grow into her powers, but they seem to have decided they didn't want to use her, and she's gone to California. Yeah.
It was quite interesting setting up for this podcast and finding that they wrote her out, so they cast her for the pilot, and then they decided to take the series in a different creative direction. So they then introduced a new character, and you can almost feel it as the episode goes on. It really does feel like, oh, she'll be kind of apprenticey-esque for him, but also the tool that he needs to take it further. Again, a little bit sort of Cordelia and Doyle from Angel, having the visions and helping him. And then suddenly she goes, hey, I've made you a map, and here's all the things you need to go and look at. Bye.
Yeah. And this is cynical Catherine, but cynical Catherine thinks they got the focus group back from the pilot, and the focus group said, hey, we want Constantine to have some sexy with the female counterpart, but Liv is too young and too innocent and too much of a daughter figure to him. And so they sent her to California, and they brought in, admittedly, a very attractive young artist, but an attractive lady who is old enough for it to be palatable for her to have a bit of a sexy relationship with Constantine later in the series, and self-possessed and self-confident enough for it to plausibly stand up to him in a way that I don't think they wrote the Liv character in the first episode. So I think she was written out because she was too young and innocent to provide the counterpart that they thought the audience wanted for him.
Yes. I can definitely see that. Obviously, we don't know, and the information on Wikipedia is just creative differences or different creative direction. So, but yeah, there is a feeling of that the relationship with Zed is very different than the relationship he would have had with Liv.
Yeah.
And particularly the two actors. So, John Constantine, played by Matt Ryan, and Zed Martin, played by Angelica Celea. They are almost exactly the same age, whereas the lady playing Liz is another 5 years junior to them, and clearly being aged down in playing it as well, I think.
Yes, so. It surprises me that she's the age she is. I thought she was actually a lot younger than that.
Yeah. So we've only seen one regular episode and the pilot, and the sort of structure of it so far is not hugely enticing, and it's almost a structure that American shows like this have had for many years. Since we had, I can think of Knight Rider and the A-Team and the $6 Million Man and people who travel around helping people, the Incredible Hulk. And then it becomes the Crow series and Highlander series, people travelling around helping people. It's got some of that same structure. What are you laughing at?
I've just got this mental image of a heavy metal version of Maybe Tomorrow.
But yeah, it's a lot of that same sort of thing of moving around and having adventures in different places, which feels a bit tired almost.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's exactly what I was trying to get at the start. Like I wasn't able to express it the same way. I was a bit bored.
But it's the catch for this is that they are doing this to try and redeem his soul. So he has a whole list of different people he can go and help, and eventually this will redeem him. That is basically Angel Season 2. He actively sets up a board listing all the things he's done that are good to try and get back. And they have one episode where he turns that round and realises it's not about the goal, it's about the journey and the commitment to the goal. So that's the thing there. But it does feel like this is going to be the thing, which is I thought there might be a larger plot, and we might still find it, of something big is coming. I think, like I said, with it might be a bit like the Ghostbusters. There's all this stuff coming because we're seeing all this evidence of it, and eventually we'll figure out a bigger picture plot. But I'm now not sure that's going to be in evidence.
Yeah, and I definitely think you're right. That is what they seem to be aiming for. Whether they get there in 13 episodes, I don't know if they were supposed to have 13 episodes, if they were supposed to have more.
I don't know.
We could have a very, very busy final episode.
Yeah.
But I suppose. And this might be a result of us having watched these 2 episodes so soon after watching the film. I found the film's reason for his soul being damned to hell a lot more plausible than the TV series reason. Yeah. Because if the TV series reason, for me, was he believed in his own hubris too much, and he made a very bad decision during a battle, and a young girl got dragged to hell as collateral damage. Which, whilst all very unfortunate, does not, to me, build a plausible case for his own soul being damned to hell. Whereas I can see how the committing suicide, as per the film, does.
Yes, I like that a lot more. I think what we've seen in the TV series matches the original comic for the character a lot more as well.
Okay, so fair enough.
That's what they're basing that on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it in the movie because you can sort of see the steps of he sees all this stuff and eventually kills himself because it's torturing him.
Yep.
Oh, and then it turns out it's real. And yeah, very nicely done. Let's talk a bit on characters. So that's the plot and the series overall. So we have Matt Ryan as John Constantine. He is British, but he's Welsh. He's from Swansea, with a fairly broad northern accent, which is good because we start off in Northern England.
just Northern England.
Your neck of the woods, yeah?
Totally captioned by no English person ever. Because, like, seriously, Northern England. At the very least, I'd talk about the Northeast or the Northwest. Yeah. Like, give me a break. Anyway. But yes, my neck of the woods. I found his accent a little baffling.
Yeah.
A little, because I can understand why they wouldn't want to... well, I can understand that as an American TV show... that to give him a genuine Liverpudlian accent would probably not do good things for their ratings. Because, and apologies to any Liverpudlians out there, whilst your accent is lovely, I think unless you are accustomed to hearing a strong Liverpudlian accent, it can be a challenge.
It can be impenetrable.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd agree. Knowing a number of Liverpudlians.
Yeah. So I think what
some of my best friends are from Liverpool.
What...
West Manchester.
West Manchester. But I think what they've tried to do is they've tried to soften it. And what he's ended up with is a sort of, well, it's probably an accent not dissimilar to mine, but a generically northern accent that sort of wanders from Liverpool to Sheffield to Barnsley via Wales occasionally.
Yeah.
And so for me listening to it, I spend half my time listening to him and going, where's he supposed to be from?
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing interviews with Matt Ryan himself and seeing what he sounds like. I quite like the way he plays it. It is obviously a little bit lighter than Keanu Reeves, but most people are. I liked some of his quippiness. I didn't enjoy the mystery he brought to everything. Not telling people things and hiding what he could do. But when, like in that second episode, when he went to do the investigation... When he went to do the investigation, he was sat at the bar chatting to the guy, and then he went to the house and he was talking to the woman. It was very natural him trying to get information without necessarily lying, but doing that investigative thing that you need to do in a show like this. So he comes across quite naturally, I think.
Yes, I agree. I enjoyed his personification of the role, and in fact, I think as we said in the Constantine film podcast, I think you have to be a little bit lighter than Keanu was in that film.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, as good as the film was, ain't no one going to watch that for an hour a week for 13 or 26 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's good. I quite enjoyed him. And we've then got three people in our main cast, but we've only seen each of them for an episode, pretty much. Zed was introduced, the artist, who has seen him. So obviously she has some sort of latent psychic connection or some sort of ability.
Yeah.
I'm imagining will come out. She was quite good. Quite strong, quite independent, bit fierce.
Yeah, she was good. I mean, again, and I think this is the problem I have with the whole thing. I have seen her before in various guises.
Right. The character or the actress?
Character.
Okay.
The character. I have seen that woman written before.
Yep.
With different embellishments in a variety of programs.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's a characterization I quite like.
Yeah.
But it is not new.
Yeah, she's not someone that we go, oh, she's going to be memorable.
Yes.
As she is at the moment.
Yes.
So we'll see. We have Charles Halford as Francis Chaz Chandler.
He's my favourite.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You see, I'm struggling to remember much that he did other than dying and coming back to life.
I quite like the way he's there, just in the background, being solid and reliable, and remarkably good-humoured. I think what's intrigued me is the way he seems to have an air of general enjoyment of the world.
Yeah.
And I like that. That to me is unusual in this setting of doom and gloom, and everybody's fighting the devil, and isn't the world an awful place? I'm like, why is this guy that I think is going to get killed over and over again? How is he able to keep such a genial and optimistic outlook on the world?
Okay, that will be interesting. I imagine we will get some more of a backstory for him. I'd be amazed if they leave us without. That's really interesting. I say he left very little impact on me. I enjoyed him as a counterpoint to John because he seemed a bit more open and prepared to talk whilst also not talking that much.
Yes.
But he doesn't deal in mystery and setting up his own, either his own quippiness or his own mythos. Yeah. And then we had Harold Perrineau as Manny, so the angel who is now watching over him. Harold from... or at least a couple of seasons of Lost, the Matrix movies. So he's someone I've seen in a number of things. This is a slightly different role for him. He's not normally someone who's in the know. I've often seen him being striving or a junior person.
Okay.
So this is slightly different, and it made it a little bit less easy for me to buy. How did you find Manny?
He's not Tilda Swinton, is he?
That is very true. There are differences between the two of them.
I know. It's interesting because I'm about to echo what you just said about the Chaz. He left very little impression on me.
Yeah.
I bought him in the role, but the role didn't massively interest me. I'm like, oh, you're going to pop up every now and then, have a slightly snarky conversation with Constantine, and maybe become of more import when the overarching story about the big bad comes into play.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see what comes of him. I'm not sure we've seen any of anyone else particularly to comment on.
I don't think so. I'm afraid. Okay, what do we think? Where do we think this is going to go over the next 11 episodes?
I think the mysticism is going to be the big thing, more so than the action. I can see this going down the X-Files path of there is stuff going down everywhere and mysterious things happening, but the agents, as Mulder and Scully, would get involved but not be part of the goings-on. In this, we'll have the same thing if they go to investigate it and they see all this stuff happening and then they resolve it, but have to have some sort of, what in the X-Files will be a shootout and run and chase the guy down. This will be him giving an incantation, maybe something clever with a symbol or a rune or some sort of artifact. I feel like we're going to see the same thing we've seen for at least the first 5 or 6 episodes.
I was about to say, do we think that out of 13 episodes out of 13, the bad guy is going to be defeated with a bit of Latin?
Yeah. Not necessarily Latin, maybe, he's going to throw in some Greek and some sort of other chants, some Mandarin, something, but yes, it's going to be that.
I suppose it's a shame because I loved the film so much. I really wanted to like the TV series, but I suppose there was a warning in that it only lasted 13 episodes.
Yeah.
That perhaps we weren't going to be as engaged by it. But then Firefly.
Yes, yeah. I feel like the fact that this is coming back as an animated series is making me look at this slightly differently and going, yeah, there are effects and moments in here that you could do really well with a much bigger budget. But with a initial series of a TV show, the budget is not going to be as big as it could be or would be several seasons in. So we're not going to have elaborate demon flying, angel flying, all the effects that we had from the movie. You remember when Balthazar's face was smashed off and the mask of his face was still talking?
Yes.
Great moments like that. We're not going to see anything of that here. But in an animated show, you could do that sort of thing. You could do it to the quality I think it deserves.
Yeah. And we found that with Vixen.
Yes.
The sort of the visualization of her powers was done so much better in the animated movies. Were they movies? Or the animated show?
Yeah.
Let's call it a show.
Yes.
Yes. It was done so much better there. I would be, obviously, we're going to carry on watching the TV series anyway, and I will try not to be so mean about it in future episodes, but I would genuinely also be interested in seeing what they make of the animated series.
Yeah, I'll be particularly interested to see if they make it for a slightly younger audience as it's a cartoon? Because there is always that risk.
I don't know that I'd mind that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, less murder and destruction, but a bit more superhero-style fighting.
Because I also think one of the things that put me off in this a little bit was it also dark.
Yeah.
Everything's in the dark. Like, can we not do something during the daytime, please?
Yeah. I did find they've clearly done a test for the animated series, because in the DC animated universe, so we watched Assault on Arkham, and there's a number of films in that universe. Yeah. They've done Justice League Dark, featuring Matt Ryan as Constantine, teaming up with Batman and some of the other sorcerers in the DC universe. So they've clearly done a test of, does this character and this idea work in an animated setting? Okay. So I suspect what we'll probably do is watch that before the animated series.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we'll get through Constantine the series and see what we think. Hopefully it will pick up. I'm expecting it to, because all shows get better after about episode 6. Yeah. So.
And effectively, to the second episode was almost like another first episode. Yeah. Because they were rebedding in another core cast member. Yep. So. Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah. And yeah, especially clearly having made changes so late in the day, it will take a while for the writers then to write her in and to establish how to write that character well. Yeah. So we'll see what comes of it. So that wraps us up for another week. If you have thoughts, questions, or comments, you can use the hashtag ATAV on Twitter, or find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Eloquent Gushing. If you want to help support us, please check out our Patreon page, where you can get access to exclusive content across all our shows. Go to patreon.com/eloquentgushing. And don't forget to visit the homepage, eloquentgushing.com, to sign up for the weekly newsletter about the goings-on across all our shows. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you across the Arrowverse.
Across the Arrowverse is an Eloquent Gushing production. For more shows you'll love, please visit eloquentgushing.com.